Okay, should be live. Hello guys, welcome back to my stream. Today we're going to be working on Slay Belle Katarina, mostly the hair, as you guys can read by the title. And am I streaming? I should be streaming. Yeah. Am I? We're going to be working on Slay Belle Katarina today, so welcome back to my stream. I'm doing that again because I don't know if that went through. But yeah, today we're going to be focusing primarily on the hair because that's kind of like the most under-rendered section of the model. So we're just going to be doing that. I'm going to actually work with grayscale because I feel like it's easier to kind of render out the material better than just get distracted with the hair color. So, and let me put on some music. And for those of you that are here today on stream, let me know if the music is too quiet. Ooh. Wait, let me put it up. Just me and yeah, you should be able to. All right. This is my favorite part. That gin part goes hard. Alright, so I'm trying to keep the hair kind of like wavy. So this is a rare instance where I actually am just working with the grayscale. You mostly only do this if you feel like you get distracted by the color and you just want to focus on making the material read the way that it's supposed to. So for this hair, like, we have a lot of color going on, and then on top of that, we also want to make it look like hair. So instead of trying to do both at the same time, we're just focusing on one aspect. And then we'll go back in and actually color the hair, and then we can paint on top of that gradient color that we create to kind of polish things out. Okay. Pretty happy with that. So let's throw on the gradient so you guys can see. And you can see how that's starting to take form now. Pretty nice. I love working with gradient maps. I'm going to export this texture out so that I can maybe work in Photoshop. Okay, and then let me pull over my window. Like so. Okay. Slap on our new texture. Cool. Alright, now I can go in here and start blending some of this. Okay. Going to grab, let's see, hard round detail brush, maybe? Just gotta mess with that. Make the hair shape more interesting. I want to make it like pretty curly. Because I think out of all the Katarina skins, this is the one you can take an opportunity to make more curly than usual. I'm just gonna polish up this edge. Do I have a wireframe? Yeah, I do. Cool. Alright, and then I'm going to look at this reference, because I think this hair is really well done for that stylized kind of look. Tighten those highlights. After, before, oh wait, before, after. Alright. Pretty good polish. on the 2D, so let's switch over to 3D. Going to get rid of my paint layer and project, show all, refresh my texture, and input it back in. Okay, and then if I put gradient, looks good. I'm liking how that's looking. Let's work on this side here a bit more. So that's just one strand. Kind of want to blend this color down. The shadow underneath the headband, the contact shadow. I'll try my best to blend some strands in there. I'll take care of most of that in Photoshop. I want this bang to have more brightness. Okay, and I'm just gonna keep this inside a bit darker. I don't want to make it too bright because when we add that gradient, it's gonna get bright. I think right there is good. Lower the stroke opacity. Just kind of add some bond inside. White hair? No, we're not doing white hair. I'm just rendering it in grayscale because I feel like I have an easier time focusing on making the material look like hair instead of worrying about the color at the same time. So it's just a different technique for how you can approach texturing. Oh, so you put a color above it and the shading stays? Yep, that's exactly how it works. It's just like a gradient color map that you would do in Photoshop, and same thing applies here. So it's like each of the values that you, or like each of the colors that you choose apply to whatever value you set it to. And then, yeah, you set like the highest, the brightest color, and then the darkest color, the middle color, and then it kind of blends between those. So I'll go ahead and put it on right now. It's the gradient color. I probably need to switch it over to more of a yellowish tone. So let me do that for the highlight first. Just a little bit. So basically, if you wanted, you can turn the darkest shade purple, mid-tone pink, and the lightest tone yellow. Yeah, in fact, I'll do that right now. I'm going to set the color quantity to 3, so that I just have 3 colors. And the darkest shade purple. Mid-tone pink. Let's see, pink, and then lightest bright yellow. You can see it's kind of messy because there's not enough contrast. So what I can do is add levels and then kind of adjust where those values are. So that would kind of get you the result. It's kind of rough because, I mean, if you add more color values, then you can kind of have more control of how all those colors kind of transition. Let's say I make this a slightly brighter pink and shift it towards red. Make this a brighter pink, shift it a lot towards red. And you kind of have like a smoother transition of color. OMG, that's so cool. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Heck is this music? Pretty neat, I think. So, yeah. Let's get back our color. So if we go back here, we can also adjust the levels and make it more desaturated. Something to note, like if you're doing blonde hair, you want to keep your values pretty low contrast and closer together, because it kind of delivers that kind of soft look to it. Otherwise, if you increase the contrast, you're getting to a darker color. And darker hair has like more contrast between the shadows and the highlights, and brighter hair does not. So something to think about. I'll probably keep it like here-ish. So you can see how that changes my grayscale as well if I turn off the levels. It kind of makes things less contrast. So I'll just keep painting with high contrast and then adjust it afterwards with levels. Also, welcome to the stream, Pararu. Last night I was working on finishing up the ASU animations, and I believe they are completely done. So the only thing I have left to do now is just finish the Slay Belle model. Then she should be ready before I leave in a couple days. I'll definitely have to try that trick too. It makes shading a lot easier. Yeah, it definitely does. It also makes, like, if you're thinking to do a bunch of chromas too, makes that process a lot easier as well. Kind of trying to mix in some strands. Okay, and on the underside of the hair, I'm going to grab this bright color that I picked here. And do that as like the highlight. I tried watching this stream past times, but I was home too late. Yeah, yesterday I pushed this stream back like an hour. And that's because I had some family over. Yeah, I'm trying to add some detail to that back side of the hair. Shake out my hand. Sheesh. Hopefully today I'll be home again before the stream ends. Yeah, it'll be over in like 40 minutes or so. And I'll do a test in game to show you guys the process, or the progress, I mean. See how that has really pushed the texture. I try not to depend on gradient maps too much because I've said this before, but there's like a lot of nuance in color. You can kind of mix in different color variations, add bounce light in that way. You know, if you're working with reflective materials, you can mix a lot more colors as well. So I say use gradient maps as like a base, but not as a crutch. Use it as a starting point. Especially for, I mean, even hair. I mean, it depends. Like, if you want a particular piece of clothing or material or whatever to be one single color continuous throughout, then it's fine. But usually you want to add some color variation too, just to make it look more interesting. Even the KDA Ari hair after her ASU, it got like underneath the hair, like right here where I'm painting, it's more purple or pink, it has like a pink highlight, and that's because of the light that's bouncing off her back or whatever, and it just makes it more interesting if you happen to catch that an angle where you see the hair from the backside. The color variation is very important, making your whole texture look more interesting. So let's add our gradient. You can see how we're getting some detail there, which is great. Pretty happy with this color that we ended up choosing for the hair. I'm gonna add that slight ombre. And do I have a screenshot of the in-game? I do not. Hey, hi Coffee, welcome to the stream. I can increase the intensity of this highlight, or this ombre. Mess around with the blending modes. And light. Divide. Overlay. I don't usually use screen because it messes with the values. I think what I had before was fine. Hard light. I shift it more towards magenta. What do you think is the release of ASU-based Katarina going to impact the Katarina community? I hope so. I hope people are like, wow, this is insanely, like an insane improvement from what we have. I mean, I've been in Katarina main for years, since season 3, so I've been playing her for a long time, and honestly, it just feels like an honor to like work on her and try to make her an improved version of what she is right now. And I mean, I've already played with the skin, the ASU on my own, and yeah, the animations just feel so much smoother. She feels a lot more agile. I think right now she feels pretty stiff, but I mean, of course, can't put too much blame on the people that created her at the time because, you know, they had so many tools. The tools they had were limited. The only issue is like, can you guys get working on ASUs faster? Because like, I think majority of the community in general is asking for more ASUs. We don't care about new champions. New champions, they oftentimes are just annoying to deal with, and I just don't think people are looking for that. And of course there's like a small audience of people that do, but we want to see our champions updated. There's no reason Zillion should exist in the game than the way that he looks right now. Every little work for her, no matter if visual or balancing, is always pretty exciting for me. Yeah, I agree. But I'm sure that applies to anybody's main. Like if you feel like you're finally getting attention, whether it's like a new skin or like a mid-scope or whatever, icon even, or emotes. It feels exciting to finally get some love for your champion. Unless you're like Seraphine, who gets a skin like every single year. Music is a little too loud? Okay, I'll turn it down. Also, your Urgot skin looks so good as well. Thank you, Copy. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a little bit of work off stream for Urgot, because there wasn't like as many people. I don't think people are as active during live streams for Urgot, which is fine. You know, it is what it is. He's a less popular champion, I guess. And he's also a project skin. Like, I feel like most people are kind of tired of product skins. Kinda needs some attention because of her outdated kit. I feel like her kit is decent. It just feels worse every time they release a new champion because like they're giving people resets, they're giving people like resets, which is kind of like Katarina's main gameplay mechanic. It's all about the resets. So when you just throw that on other champions, then it feels like, well, what the heck? Like, she feels less important. And like Samira, for example, her ult is pretty much the same thing as Katarina, except it targets all 5 champions. So for Katarina, who's like all about multi-kills, it also feels like she's being undercut in a way. But I mean, I guess you can make an argument that like she has to work harder to get resets because her abilities do a lot more damage, and she's more like bursty than Samira. I don't know. I don't know what the gameplay people are thinking about, but I'm sure they have their reasons. But I mean, I feel like her kit's in a decent spot. It just feels worse every time they release a new champ or make a mid-scope. Like when they throw Olaf a shield for whatever reason, it's like, oh, okay. Are we gonna put that on Katarina too? You know? Like Vel'Koz and Sidra got a mid-scope would be enough. Yeah. Her identity, hi Mike, welcome to the stream. Her identity is long gone or not unique anymore. Yeah, it also doesn't help that she doesn't really have like a core build to go for. She kind of can just build whatever. So it's like she doesn't really have like a stable place in the game. She was so good when she had Hextech Gunblade. Yeah. Those were the days. I don't think they're ever gonna bring that item back though. Maybe after like mythic items are gone for good. Kata resets are so much harder to get though. Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely hard to get, but I think in a way it's kind of good because it like makes her more complicated to play. So I like that there's a bit of a challenge to try and get resets. It's not like super easy, like, oh, I killed this target, now I get to wipe their entire team. But also, I mean, that has to do with items too. Like, if the item numbers are really high, then she'll be able to do that. But I mean, right now she's not like horrible to play. Her laning phase definitely feels pretty bad, but I guess like you have to play around your jungler in a way, or look for roams to try and survive and get some kills. But if you try to like lane with Katarina, it's just not gonna work out. And you can move and you can crit and lifesteal and you kill creeps. Samira ult, yeah. That Samira ult does a lot of stuff for her. I wish AD Katarina be gone in 1.5 years and her AP ratio burst mage side will be back my dream. Yeah, I played Katarina with the preseason on PBE, and I have to say, like, she feels so much better with the new items. She just feels like she can roam better in the jungle. The lane is bigger, so there's a lot more space to like dodge stuff. I feel like she's definitely getting a big comeback for preseason, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, the one thing we Katarina mains can all agree is that she needs some love from Riot. Yeah, she has been in the game for a long time, so I feel like for sure she needs at least an ASU. I mean, I was really happy when we got Fairy Core. It was really nice to get like a fantasy type skin for her. So that was really refreshing. I hope they can do that with more champions in general. Like champions like Gameplank, I feel like always gets like the same angry pirate, bad guy kind of vibes. I think Pool Party is like the only actual skin that kind of changes him a bit in an interesting direction, or a fun way, I think. I think we need more of that. It's 20th of December, now late of December, and the real question is where we get to play with the new Katarina ASU. Yes, that is a question I've received a lot. I was saying, I guess you weren't here in the stream, but I was saying that I finished up her animations last night, so pretty much the only thing left to do is finish Slay Belle Katarina, and then once I finish her, then she'll be ready to release. But this should be only like 3 or 4 days before I leave for vacation. Let's see, the 21st? 22nd is when I leave, so I have tomorrow and then the day after. So I'll probably look to release her on the 21st. And it'll be right on time for Christmas. Alright, so did a pretty good job of rendering out the material for the hair. So let's add the gradients and the levels. You can see how much more defined the material is, how much better it looks. It's 19th of December. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I have tomorrow and then the day after. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of work out this bang a little bit more. And then we'll throw on the gradient and work from there. She's almost ready, guys. Don't worry. Do not fret. Not only will you get the default skin, but you also get Slay Belle. Of course, you have to own the skin to play it. That's the only thing. Okay. I want to curl the hair a little bit. Excited for next year because we have a lot more projects planned. I do want to kind of push away from league content specifically. Kind of do a little bit, show you guys some of my personal projects and work on those on stream as well. So I think that's more interesting. And I don't want to just be about, league content primarily. There's other games out there. So for sure I want to try my own projects as well. My original characters too. To be fair, the only problem I have with Katarina custom skins are the hair physics because of the assets you guys have. You can't really do something impressive with that. I already talked about that with another individual, I guess. Yeah, I mean, most people, they don't really know how to create custom assets from scratch, so they just piece together parts from existing skins and just kind of do whatever fits within the thematic that they're looking for. So there's only so many options they can choose from. If you really want to go the extra mile, then you should create assets from scratch. I think it's a good learning opportunity. If you're having fun creating custom skins, you should definitely try, like, especially if you are thinking to like become a professional modeler or game artist, you should definitely try like making stuff from scratch for League. Because at the end of the day, like, if the company is going to consider to hire you, they want to know that you are capable of creating stuff within their style. So you definitely want to practice that. If you're serious about it, at least. Can you lower the opacity of base color of her hair, orange color? The texture and values are blending too much. Let me see. Lower the opacity, like the levels. I mean, the only thing is I don't want to put too much contrast because it's a bright hair color. And this feels consistent with some of the brighter hair colors. This is a fan skin, so it doesn't really like count too much for what exists in the game. But I mean, this is white hair, and you can see like there's not that much contrast. Wait, I can turn this grayscale, right? Images. I can switch to like grayscale mode. Where's the help? Is it Control G? Oh. Alt G? Shift G? Control Alt G? No. There's a way you can grayscale with pure ref. Canvas grayscale, there it is. So if I turn this to grayscale, put up my levels, you can see it's actually higher contrast than this. But also we're choosing colors too, so that's going to affect the values as well. But if I grayscale this, like, it's going to be pretty close to that, so I don't think it's necessary to increase the contrast, especially since it's a bright hair color. So I'll just leave it as is. I guess I should show more examples of bright hair instead of just this fan art. What else? Let's see. Her original hair, like, doesn't have that much contrast. There's more contrast towards the bottom, I guess, but it also gets darker too, so it makes sense. This is KDA Ari's hair. You can see how little contrast there is. And that one's also blonde, similar blonde color. And you can also see, like, if you're trying to focus on rendering material for hair, if you put your references to grayscale as well, then you can see how the right artists also paint the texture of the hair, and you can kind of copy that. I'm going to switch over to UV mode. It's a big hair day today. We're really working on this part, concentrating on it. Hair can be like super tedious, so it takes quite a bit of time, but it's very rewarding when you get to the final result. This is where the hairband sits, so I'm going to create a shadow. I'll blend it out. I just want to go in here and crisp up these edges. I don't really zoom in like super, I don't like super zoom in to my textures when I'm working on them, because obviously we look at the characters from pretty far distance usually, so you want to work from big to small. You want to get the overall picture, and then you can go in and start cleaning things up. I'm probably just going to blend this in Photoshop with the smudge tool. Just kind of work this out a bit more. Okay, and then we'll smudge that. Okay, and then leave it there, and then export to Photoshop. Okay. Create a duplicate layer. I'm going to delete these previous layers too. Okay, so this is the hair strand that sits in front of her shoulder. I'm going to switch over my reference to the old wizard guy. Yep. Just kind of blending things out here. You guys can hear the music, right? Yep. Just kind of cleaning up the lines. Yes, okay, cool. what is the name of this music? This is Viego's theme, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Viego the Ruined King. Yep. Kind of cleaned up all those messy parts. So let's save and see how it looks in 3D. Refresh the texture. And where's my hair? I'm gonna get rid of that paint layer. There we go. It's starting to look like hair now. I think it looks really nice now. Maybe I can render this part. Looks a little unfinished. Switch over to camera, size space viewport. And render this strand. Hair is kind of similar to metal too, to where like I'm defining those edges with a very sharp, bright value, and then kind of going in and blending out the middle part with some different values. Kind of creating a section here, because that is where the hair splits to do some different movements. Edge looks a bit rough. And then we'll add back some hair detail. This part is kind of messy. Let's clean that up. I'll blend that out in Photoshop. Okay. And let's export again. Did you ever made a digital portrait painting before? Yeah, I used to do a lot of illustrations. I did that in high school a lot because during high school I was actually transitioning from traditional artwork into digital. So I'm gonna pull up my portfolio here. You guys can see some of the illustrations that I did. It's not on my ArtStation anymore because don't really want employers to see that. So in the past, like I've pretty much always been inspired by Riot Games. And at one point I wanted to be a splash artist. So I would create a bunch of like digital kind of splash arts, I guess. And so that's where I got most of my hand painting skills from, working with Photoshop. So this was like a witch character, and then did like a Santa Claus. And then this lady here. Just a variety of stuff. This guy, he was my D&D character that I played for like one day. But yeah, I used to do a lot of digital illustrations, and then I kind of wanted to do 3D modeling, so I ended up starting with custom skins. Actually, I think League custom skins really helped me out with developing my 3D skills and then translating it into a game. And one of my most recent illustrations was actually this grave splash art for Star Guardian. And it was like 3 years since I'd done like a whole splash art or digital illustration, and I immediately jumped into doing this one. And I think it turned out pretty good. There's like a few anatomical issues, I guess, maybe proportions, but I'm not really studying splash art and all that, so I'm not too worried about it. But I think overall, like it's pretty good. So yeah, I've done plenty of digital illustrations. So let's find where that highlight is. And yeah, I think if you're a 2D artist, like a digital artist, I think you'll find doing 2D painting with, or like doing hand painted models instead of jumping into like trying to do realistic stuff is a lot better for you to transition into than to immediately jump into realism. So let's refresh this texture. Okay, cool. And add the gradient map. And I do want to try something. I want to make this top part of the hair brighter than the back. So let's grab kind of a bright yellow color. I'm gonna grab soft brush and maybe set it to color dodge. Maybe not, we'll switch it after. And just kind of do like very soft ring of light around her head. And still brighten up those values. I'm gonna switch to blending mode. This is getting a bit too yellow. Top of the hair a bit brighter. I'm gonna increase my flow. And then we can now mess around with the blending mode, soft light, see how that changes things. Makes it more yellow, doesn't really make it brighter. Pin light, nope. Okay. Vivid light, nope. Soft light, linear, dodge. Oh, okay. That's something I can work with. So I'm just gonna go in here and just kind of get rid of the bright on the darker areas. Then I can turn down the opacity so it's not as big of a difference. So let's turn that down just a bit. And there we go. Now you can tell that top part of the hair is a lot brighter than the back. And that's what we want. So I'm gonna change the levels a bit so we can lower the contrast in the hair and then add back hair gradient here. I can also grab my grayscale. Let me grab a fill layer and then copy that color just in case I want to go back. Oops. I need to switch this back to not grayscale. Okay, I'm going to create a fill layer and just copy this color just in case I want to change this. Go back to my changes. And then I'm actually going to do a gradient for this ombre. And I actually have a lot more control over the values. So right now I'm just making it all the same pink color. I'm going to increase the opacity. And then I want the dark values to be a bit redder. Make this a bit more red. This is maybe too many colors. Let me pull it down just a bit. Oh my god, I'm here. At least the Ergot Skin Maker, the chat beard. And thank you for the subscription. I'm actually gonna wrap up stream here pretty soon. So, but I mean, you did make it. So, with this gradient map, I have a lot more control over how that ombre is gonna look, instead of just doing a hard light layer. So I want to keep this relatively bright. And then maybe what I'll do is lower the opacity so we get back that blonde. Nah, I don't like it. Okay. So let's switch this to a kind of dark orange color. And I actually like that. Not bad. Well, at least I made it. Yep, you did. Alright, so I'm going to export the texture out, and then we're going to test in game, and then I'll wrap up this stream. But let's see how that looks. So I'm going to grab her texture and input our new texture. You can see how that's changed today, mostly focusing on the hair. So save. And then Katarina. I'm going to close out my pure ref sheet. Let's see, where's my custom skin? Katarina ASU. Okay. Load up practice tool. And let's give this some time to process. Okay, close, run. Alright, now we wait. Oh, let me switch over to Slay Belle. Ah, okay, we're good. Alright. Alright, now we are in game. I'm actually not that happy with the ombre. I think it's a bit too dark color. But you can see how the hair texture has really improved from how we last saw it. The golds on the daggers are a little bit too orange for my taste, so I might add some like yellow colors in there. Here's some of the animations. You can see, you might notice there's a little bit of a difference from when I last showed her. Maybe pull up the abilities. Yeah. And that's it. That's it for today, guys. I'm going to end the stream there. Let me see actually what comments you guys have, if there's any that I'll get to. Textures always look too funny on the 2D. Yeah, they do. I'm going to switch this back to the fill layer and hard light. And lower the opacity. Keep it more subtle. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna do another stream tomorrow. We're probably going to. I mean, I don't really know if there's that much left on Katarina that I could do off stream. Like, I'll probably just do it off stream. I think you guys got a good gist of how this texture has developed. So, and then tomorrow, I guess we can switch over to Zobi, kind of work on that a little bit. Project Ergon, I'm also going to work on off stream, just because we need to get that to a certain point so that my collaborators can do some stuff on it with animations and stuff. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys for joining the stream. Tune in tomorrow when we work on Zobi. And yeah, that's it. See you guys next time.